Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 1242 and Doubleshot number 1136. These two trades, of course digital again, revisiting the world of Flashpoint. Yep, now I have reviewed the main miniseries. This was about a year ago, I think it was. This is the first of two trades I'm going to review. Now I'm also going to try to review the other trades at some point. Now I'm off reviewing one other trade. Now, this one is basically on who else but Batman? Yep, frickin' Batman. Now, this contains like 5 miniseries. Actually, 4. The first one, of course, being the titular one about Batman. This is known as Batman Night of Vengeance. Yes, this is not the Bruce Wayne Batman in this continuity. Oh no, he's dead. Yeah, the Bruce Wayne continuity, Bruce Wayne in this continuity, this alternate reality, is dead. In this world, instead of Thomas and Martha Wayne dying in the tragedy of the Waynes at Crime Alley by Joe Chill, Bruce Wayne died instead. So, in the place of that, Thomas Wayne became Batman and Martha Wayne became the Joker. Where the actual Joker is in this reality is never explained. Now, this the Batman Night of Vengeance miniseries is written by Brian Azzarello and artwork by Aaron Russo, who actually worked on the Broken City story arc. This, simply put, it's just an alternate Batman story, like the title suggests. And a lot of the miniseries, you see what exactly he is up to, from what I can tell, before the events of the main miniseries in this alternate world. In this world, basically, the police department is owned by the Wayne Casino. Yes. Instead of Wayne Enterprises, it's the Wayne Casino, because it was mentioned in the actual miniseries that he runs a casino. The person who runs the casino is the frickin' Penguin. Yes. And apparently this guy is responsible for also killing off several alternate versions of the known Batman villains. Apparently if I read, he killed off Harley Quinn, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze. He apparently killed off Killer Croc too. And the whole miniseries is basically Thomas looking for his estranged wife. Actually, the Croc's actually alive. He does. He eventually finds her by the end of the miniseries, and instead of basically going to justice, basically like she should, she commits suicide by the end of the miniseries. Also, get this, because Jim Gordon was the commissioner of police at that point. When Thomas Wayne bought the police department, he became the chief of the police department. It's kind of a bit demotion, but basically it's the same exact title, it's position he had. It's kind of like being a chief of security. That's basically what he's doing. And from what I can tell, he treats the police department really well in this continuity. Yeah. And the arc in here is really good. And it is by far one of the best miniseries. From what I have heard, people describe this as all the time miniseries for Flashpoint. It is the best one. Yep, the best one. I do kind of agree with that. I do have the other miniseries in this trade here. I do think it's up there with this one too. The next one I'm talking about in here, which is actually in this trade, it is... Well, there actually are 3 others. You also have Dead Man and the Flying Grace is written by J.T. Grohl and artwork by Fabrizio Finito, Mikel Janet, and Andrea Giannito. Excuse me. This miniseries, Dead Man and the Flying Graysons, now in this continuity, Dick Grayson never becomes a ward for Batman, because of course Bruce Wayne doesn't name the circus. And Dead Man is actually the one running the circus. Interesting. And also, one of the Graysons die in this continuity, not both of the parents of the Grayson. Previously, it's been told in multiple continuities that it's usually John and Mary Grayson who die at the circus. In this continuity, just Mary dies. But it's not Tony Zuko who kills him. Oh no! She gets killed by the frickin' Amazons. Yeah, because in the Flashpoint universe, the Amazons the Amazons are evil. Yes, because this world was indirectly created by Barry Allen when he tried to go back in time and save his mother. Excuse me. So, it's also toward the end of the series. We also have the Flashpoint version of Starfire pops up here, and she fights the man who actually she's supposed to be his girlfriend. Well, in many versions of basically of this relationship, she chooses to depict it as Nightwing's girlfriend, or in the case of a couple different ones, his wife and the mother of his only child. And she actually has died in the animated series. And also, Dr. Fate apparently is part of the circus too, and he gets killed off, so Dick Grayson becomes the new Dr. Fate. Okay, it's actually a pretty good miniseries. I gotta say, I'd say probably the second best one. Next one is Deathstroke and the Curse of the Ravager. Deathstroke is a pirate looking for his daughter. In his crew, he has the Icicle, Clayface. And he actually fights Aquaman in this series. Yes, Deathstroke fights frickin' Aquaman. Also, Black Manta's part of his crew too, along with King Shark. Yep, King Shark is part of the crew too. And this miniseries is done by Jimmy Palmiotti, art by Joe Bennett, who actually become one of the artists for not the volume that comes after this. Oh no, this guy becomes the artist for Deathstroke in the Rebirth era for Deathstroke. Also art by Tony Steen, Alex Mizzo, and Joe Dell. Now, he looks for, basically, Rose Wilson, his daughter. He does toward halfway through the miniseries, and at one point, this woman named Jenny Bright basically becomes new captain of his crew, and also she attempts to try to sleep with Deathstroke. Of course, she turns him down because he's going to be her frickin' father. And this is probably a pretty interesting miniseries. Next one is The Secret Seven. This is by Peter Mulligan. Yes, Peter Mulligan, who basically rose to acclaim in the 90s for his Shade the Changing Man miniseries. Well, not miniseries, the 75-issue ongoing series. Now, this book is, the artwork in here is quite interesting. These are the artists that you probably thinking, what, this guy worked with Peter Mulligan? George Perez. Yes, George Perez. With also Scott Kubelich, yes, the guy who basically is known for drawing Deadpool in the last few years. And of course, Fernando Belliso. The Secret Seven. Let's see if I can find it. They're basically kind of in the way, an alternate version of the Secret Six in a way. Let's see if I can find them here. Let's see. Also, I should point out in this continuity, Ocean Master is actually not trying to kill his own brother. Oh no, he is loyal to him, which is quite interesting to say the least, compared to his regular version, compared to his counterpart from Earth 1, post-crisis, and the current continuity. Yes, they are always going to be fine for basically trying to kill each other. The Secret Seven. Now, this group is comprised of Shade the Changing Man, the Enchantress. And I'm actually quite glad it's actually Peter Mulligan's Shade the Changing Man. Yeah. And the Enchantress, I love the fact that that George Perez decided to go with the traditional Bob Hayne look, which I thought was really cool. We also have Black Orchid part of this group. Yes, Black Orchid. Let's see. Stagon. Maximus. I'm not really familiar with this guy. Let's see. See if I can see anybody else in here. Yeah, also I should point out, though, Cyborg has made several appearances in these tie-ins. Oddly enough, despite the fact Barry basically is the primary focus of the main miniseries, he never appears in the tie-ins. I'm like, really? Yeah, it's quite weird. As far as I can tell, there's no explained reason for this. But The Secret Seven, I found it to be a pretty fun series. And it has this, Peter Mulligan, pretty much, I like the fact he brings the same style he brought to, that he's known for doing. Basically making this weird. Yeah. Also, he has a in this miniseries where Rick Shade, his Shade Changing Man, has sex with June Moon, aka the Enchantress. Like, okay. We also have Tracy 13's in here too. Oh yeah, also Amethyst is here as well. Yes, Amethyst. Yep. And it's a pretty good miniseries. I would rank it definitely higher than the Deathstroke and the Curse of the Ravager. It's a pretty interesting one. And it does end on a weird note. With basically, look like that Shade, look like she's trapped in water. And it's kind of a weird cliffhanger, but that's how the miniseries ends. Yeah, I give this trade roughly a 9 out of 10. It's a damn good trade. And I do recommend people who are fans of basically, well, mostly of people who are fans of Batman, of Dick Grayson, Yeah. High praise for basically who are fans of these characters, and of course fans people of Brian Azzarello, George Perez. A lot of the stuff in here is actually pretty good. Next comes the trade that contains a series of miniseries that I do agree they're not that good, and they're written by good writers. Yeah, good writers. Now, here's the interesting thing. Dana and Andy Lenning, they write Wonder Woman the Furies, which is the Wonder Woman miniseries, and Lois Lane the Resistance. It's actually a pretty good one. And Aquaman is written by a guy who, as far as I can tell, doesn't have experience writing Aquaman. But yeah, he writes it. A writer I have met in person, Tony Bedard. Yes. Wonder Woman the Furies is drawn by Scott Clark and Austin Peluda. And for Aquaman, his artists are Vint Chris and Adam Schuff. Lois Lane of Resistance, this is done by Eddie Noose, Gosa Gula, and Chris Shaduzi. Outside, this is written by James Roberts. This is going to be interesting what to talk about. And Juan Perez. Mostly put when it comes to Wonder Woman the Furies and for Aquaman, they basically, in a way, take place same time as each other. Mostly put for these two miniseries. It's like explains like how Aquaman first met Wonder Woman in this reality, the fact that they tried to form a marriage, and the fact that there are actually two people, despite the fact that Oceanmaster contradicts basically we expect the other tie-ins. This contradicts exactly what happens in the other tie-ins, where apparently, like, he basically manipulated events to put Wonder Woman and Aquaman against each other with Wonder Woman's aunt. No joke, her aunt. And also, they apparently decided to kill off Garth in this continuity. Yeah, he got killed while trying to fight a frickin' Artemis. Yes, the Artemis from DC continuity. Not the Archer who was basically associated with Teen Titans. Not that Artemis. Oh no, I'm talking about the original Artemis that William S. Lowe's created. Yep. And Emperor Aquaman is, in my opinion, the weakest of all his miniseries. Nothing against Tony Bedard, because the guy is known for putting... Now, I've read a lot of the guy's work. The guy is a very good writer. And this is by far... I wouldn't say the miniseries is terrible, per se. It's just Aquaman being a bit different than basically North. That's basically how you can think of it as. Also, Mira plays a more prominent role in this miniseries than she does in Wonder Woman the Furies. Also, the Furies are made up... The Furies in this continuity are not associated with Apocalypse. The Furies are comprised of Hawkgirl. There's actually a few that was like Hawkgirl and... Excuse me. Yeah, they're basically a group of mercenaries who work for Wonder Woman. Also, Wonder Woman takes time to sack London, which plays a small part in the main series. Also, Tara. Yes, Tara. Tara Markov. By the way, they showed in the Emperor Aquaman miniseries what her brother is up to. Yeah, he's been used as a weapon to sink frickin' Europe. Which, she's not happy with that. Oh no. The Furies are mostly depicted in the Emperor Aquaman series. I mean, aside from Hawkgirl, I think Tara's part of this group. Let's see if I can find him here. They do kind of show off basically Aquaman's backstory of how basically it's mostly the backstory when I think of Aquaman in a way, except that he was actually his mother basically was in a relationship with, well, he basically is kind of like a Superman type of story. He just dropped off his father's doorstep. Let's see if I can find him here. Yeah. I was Hawkgirl. There was a few others. Now, Wonder Woman Resistance, this is an interesting one. It's basically all about Lois Lane. And in the first issue, they kill off Jimmy Olsen by drowning. And of course, she's undercover Resistance in this particular area. Also, she's working with a guy working with, get this. This green guy here crawling on this booth. That's the Counterpart Crick along with Etrigan Demon, Cole Cash, aka the Grifter. Yeah, it's interesting though. This is actually the start of the merging of the universe between DC and Wildstorm. Yep, and this is one of those other miniseries where Cyborg himself pops up here. Yep, Cyborg is here. Who basically takes the place of Superman in this continuity. Because Superman is not prominent in the Flashpoint universe. Oh no, the guy is basically off in he's basically off in a side thing. Which Strangely enough, that actually has its own miniseries. Yes, they basically have a bunch of miniseries explain what the heck these characters are up to. Also in this reality, you might find this interesting. Lois is in a relationship with Steve Trevor, who gets killed by Wonder Woman in this continuity. Yes, one of two I've seen where Wonder Woman kills Steve Trevor. If you're curious though, what is the other continuity I have seen where Wonder Woman kills Steve Trevor? Injustice Gods Among Us. Yep. Before the events of the series, she fell in love with Steve Trevor, and then she killed him when she found he was just a spy. Yep. Unlike the way he did in the movie, which was quite different. Yep. Also, yeah, the Furies are made up of, besides Hawkgirl, who, by the way, the Hawkgirl here is basically based upon the one from the Hawk World series, which kudos for that. They're also made up of Cheetah, which that's quite odd for someone work for a freaking Wonder Woman because they've been enemies for years. Also, Huntress. Yes, Huntress is part of this group, which that's interesting. Yep. And Lois Lane Resistance is a pretty interesting miniseries, but it's pretty exciting to read. Yep. Now, as in the case of The Outsider, oh boy, this is the Ray James Robinson one. Yeah. Meet The Outsider, which, now the thing with The Outsider is they don't reveal this guy's real name, but this character kind of does reappear in the current continuity. Only difference is this guy is actually the Earth 3 Al Pennyworth, who's been turned chalk-white because of the Joker. The Outsider is this mysterious guy who apparently, get this, meets up with this world's version of Martian Manhunter, believe it or not. Yes, Martian Manhunter. We does experiments on him. Well, basically, he's the one who witnesses it. Yeah, he doesn't do much of anything in his own miniseries. It's mostly a little bit of focus on, well, other people. Now, there's this one guy, basically, who he apparently decided to kill off these group of people. I don't know who these people are, these random group of people. Well, one who's got this long brunette hair. I don't know who this person is. Oh, I think it's supposed to be a female version of... Oh, I think I might know who this is. This woman here. She's probably supposed to be Mr. Trevik's wife who got killed off here. Yeah, and then of course this guy, I don't know who he is. He gets killed off by the Outsider. Also, he fights Black Adam in this miniseries. It's not much talk about this miniseries. Just stuff happens. And I don't have anything against James Robinson's writing style, but it seems as though like a lot of stuff tends to happen and not much is really accomplished with this miniseries. Like, oh, we just showed off basically what Martian Manhunter and Black Adam were up to and Miss Terrific. That's it. That's basically what we get for this miniseries. It's a pretty weak miniseries. It's weaker. I would say it's not as good as, let's say, Emperor Aquaman, which I found to be a little interesting than this. Though you might think the Emperor Aquaman miniseries might be the weakest. The Outsider is the weakest. Now, now here's the thing. James Robinson is a good writer. I've read a lot of work for him. A lot of work that he's written. Like his Justice League book series, JSA, Hawkman. This is not one of his best works. And people think that Cry for Justice is pretty bad. This one feels like a series of random events just happen to feature the Outsider. Oh, and look, a cameo by Barry Allen, who was just here on the television screen. Yep. It's like this is some random journal done by the Outsider. And almost this way, it seems as though Robinson himself probably just didn't care about this one at all. If you read The Shade, which came along after this, that one felt like he had a great time writing the damn series. This one, he felt very bored, and he just felt like, hey, let's just have a series of random things happen over the course of 3 issues. I mean, that's the interesting though about these tie-ins. They're all 3-issue miniseries. Now, how do I rank these 6 ones, mind you? The best one, I give it to Batman. Number 2, I give it to Dead Man the Flying Grace. I give it number 2. I would probably say number 3, I would give it to Secret 7. Great miniseries, I give that one. And the weakest one of that one is probably Deathstroke. That's probably the weakest one. This one, I kind of felt as though that Wonder Woman and the Furies and Lois and Resistance are pretty much on equal ground as pretty much being the best miniseries. I would say second best is Aquaman and the weakest is The Outsider. That's how I rank these miniseries. Unlike in the case of Batman Night Adventures, that was a fantastic thing to read. This was interesting to say the least. I'm going to give roughly a 9 out of 10. I felt a bit disappointed about the last miniseries, especially since it's written by one of my favorite writers, James Robertson. Excuse me. And it's kind of interesting, though. Out of all the writers who wrote this thing, I've only met one, Tony Bedard. And it's a miniseries I don't think people talk about, but people talk about Tony Bedard. Yeah, nothing against the guy. I mean, the guy wrote a lot better stuff than Emperor Aquaman. But this is by far for him one of his more weaker works he's done. It's not a terrible miniseries, mind you. Still got fantastic artwork. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Now, I might have one more review coming today. Depends on if I get some more trades done. Just depends. But yeah. But in the case you're curious, I'm going to review other miniseries for Flashpoint. Yes. Yes, I am. I plan to review pretty much all of them at some point. But yeah, 2 down. Wonder Woman and Batman. I think there's a few left. Remember, there's like, in case you're curious, like, is there a trade that collects? There's actually one for like all the Flash stuff, which that's gonna be interesting to read. And I think there's also World of Flash, but I think there's like 2 other trades left for Flashpoint, and that's it that I can think of. I think the Flash one is basically just Captain Cold, Kid Flash, and I think there's like one other miniseries in there. And I think like everything else is collected in the World of Flashpoint, which that's gonna be interesting to read. Yep, so 2 down, 2 to go when it comes to Flashpoint tie-ins. And so far, my personal favorite is Batman Night of Vengeance. And in the case of Brian Azzarello, the guy didn't write that very much for Batman. He wrote a little bit more than, let's say, Brian K. Vaughan, who only wrote like 3 issues for the main Bat book. Yeah, matter of fact, his work for DC for Brian K. Vaughan, it's very limited. Basically, there's actually one trade that collects this entire working for DC. Excuse me. Because a lot of the time we work at DC, he basically just worked on Why the Last Man. Yeah. But until this next video, which I'm not sure what video, I might do 2 more Flashpoint trades, but it just depends. Okay? Do this next video. Bye.